Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are and how you doing. Today, once more with Francis Katambana, our guest. Karibu, Francis.
Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're listening from.
Awesome,
Yes.
awesome. Good. So we've had an awesome few episodes, and let's do it again. Let's talk all things healing. Let's talk all things couples. Let's talk all things psychology.
Sawa, sawa.
Good.
Should.
Yeah, man. So I mean, yeah, we've talked about healing. We've talked about how people know that there's a problem in their marriage, and you gave us some tips on how to fix those problems, or how to start heading in the right direction. In terms of contact, in terms of maybe skin to skin as you're sleeping, maybe a kiss here and there. But tell me something. If somebody did not get to this point, and unfortunately they broke up and they divorced. So how then do they proceed and interact with their friends, their families, and things like that? How do they then heal from that point of view?
Okay. Um, hard, hard question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this: that I'm always uncomfortable about talking about life after divorce,
Mm-hmm.
because really, divorce is the absolute last resort
Yeah.
of everything that should happen in a marriage. In fact, a majority of the people I talk with, as long as you're married, I say divorce should not be part of the vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
It should actually be removed from the dictionary. But it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I would like to pick that question up from what happens when things are really, really thick.
Mm-hmm.
And what would be some of the things that would make you seriously consider divorce before we talk about what's after the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So allow me to say this. I think I said it in our episode before that everything, all the problems in a marriage are universal,
Yes.
more or less.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
more or less.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that we go through as guys,
Mm-hmm.
the cold treatment, kneel by mouth, as we like saying,
Dry spell.
dry spells.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys in America or
Mhm.
China
Mhm.
or South America or
Mhm.
Qatar still
Mhm.
experience those.
Yeah.
But once in a while, there are situations where things get a bit more serious.
Mhm.
And when things are serious, it actually points not to the marriage as a reason for bad things happening,
Mhm.
but to the individuals within the marriage.
Mhm.
And I always want to start my conversation that in a marriage, there are two individuals
Mhm.
who have come with their pasts and have agreed to live together.
Yeah.
So if those two individuals, for one reason or another, don't find themselves in a very healthy situation,
Yes.
yeah, then they can actually spoil their marriage.
Okay.
So, for example, there is a topic nowadays everybody is so happy talking about, somebody called the narcissist, the
Mhm.
narcissistic partner.
Yeah.
Uh, and you see that narcissistic partner is generally a person who's been hurt, seriously hurt as a child
Mhm.
by one of their parents.
Mhm.
And therefore, as a way of coping with the world, they decide they have to control how everybody sees them, yeah,
Mhm.
and how everybody relates to them. So they're very self-centered, uh, because their heart was perpetrated by a parent or somebody whom they cared very, very much about.
Mhm.
They don't know how to express love or show love genuinely, unless it's showing concern
Yeah.
in a way that, to trap the other person, so to speak.
Mhm.
And these people are very poor in emotional skills.
Mhm.
They have very few emotional skills,
Yeah.
if I can say that.
Mhm.
So if by bad luck you get to be with somebody who is, for example, narcissistic,
Mhm.
it means that they'll be manipulating you or through, and they're going to use all manner of manipulative tactics, uh, blaming you, um, belittling you, emotional abuse, cold shoulder treatment. But the biggest thing is to be able to disempower the person to the point where they feel that they do not almost exist. Please know, even as I say this, this is a symptom of a disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
not that they sit down, they look at Richard and say, I am going to target Richard. It's not logical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a symptom of how broken they are. So on one side, we can understand that when you're with a narcissistic, you're actually with somebody who is not very well.
Yeah.
So you can, try and forgive them for those things because it's not their fault that they're like that.
Yeah.
However, being in a marriage with somebody who is narcissistic is not a good thing.
Yeah.
And if one was to be in a relationship with somebody like that, you may want to think about exiting a marriage like that. Am I allowed to quote the Bible?
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead.
When we talk about and we say that Jesus came so that we may have life and have life in abundance. Yeah. When you're with a narcissistic person, they take away life from you. Therefore, the kind of life you would live in a marriage is not a life that is in abundance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And therefore, uh, if you had a partner who was like this, maybe it would be one of those things that you would want to think about.
Yeah.
Again, you may find partners who have rage issues and who express their rage physically or not physically but emotionally.
Yeah.
Again, these are people who you may not want to continue living with. If they're abusive, especially if it's physical abuse, I always say, please try and not live with such people like that.
Yeah.
If you find people who have certain sexual perversions, again,
Yeah.
and especially if they tend to be hurtful to children,
Yeah.
then again, maybe a person like that may not be a very good person to live with.
Yeah.
Please note that these are personality. I don't want to call them traits.
Yeah.
But or disorders that a person has.
Okay.
And they are brought into the marriage from whatever history, upbringing that person has had, has come with into the marriage.
Yeah.
So it is not something that is wrong within the marriage. It is that the person or one of the people or both of them have issues that are making the marriage not work.
Correct.
If I may go back to that guy who is narcissistic, and I would say that if that person is able to agree or able to get a partner to agree to live with them, the partner also has issues. Yeah, it's like the narcissistic person becomes the best medicine for that partner's pain.
Okay.
Yeah, so in a sense, they feel like lock and key in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
In that this guy has power, and he tends to be abusive and narcissistic. But on the other partner's side, they also have issues around their upbringing that makes them vulnerable to the manipulation of a narcissistic person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just because they are there, the narcissistic person manipulating them doesn't mean that they are well. It means that there's something already that the narcissistic person sees and uses as a vulnerability to manipulate them and to keep them down.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah. So this it's already a marriage of two broken people.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then don't forget, if those people have kids, they are going to pass on those pains to their kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So the majority of the cases, narcissistic people have kids who are very, very dependent. The kids can't think for themselves in a sense. And then if the mother is also not there, she's always been put down, or if the father is the one who is the victim, then again, without an identity, without the security that the children need,
Yeah.
they just, they just grow up messed up.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So that lock and key, for this narcissistic person, and the person who needs an assisting, it's a bad combination.
It's actually a very
Yeah.
bad combination
Yeah.
because they are both sick people who tend to have their emotional needs met by another sick person.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it does happen.
Yeah.
So one of the things I like talking a lot for married people is
Mm-hmm.
that even if you're in a marriage, you really have to do your personal development.
Yeah.
You really have to work on yourself
Mm-hmm.
because you're still an individual
Mhm.
within that marriage and
Yeah.
you have to grow.
Yeah.
So being able to address past hurts, being able
Mhm.
to address uh, things that may make you vulnerable one
Mhm.
way or another, psychologically or emotionally,
Mhm.
it's very, very important. So work with a coach or a therapist or a
Mhm.
counselor,
Mhm.
being able to understand what it is that where your history is coming from.
Okay.
But your history again is not always as important as your future.
Mhm. Of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
it forms the foundation of the person that you want to be.
Mhm.
But it's also important for everybody to think through what it is
Mhm.
that they want in their future
Mhm.
and work towards the future that they want. Yeah. Jim Rohn says the best way to predict the future is to create it.
Correct.
Yeah. So in
Yeah.
marriage, the same
Mhm.
thing works.
Mhm.
So you have to be able to create the future you want with your partner.
Mhm.
Dream about um, 40 years, 10 years from now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're going to retire, what kind of
Mhm.
children,
Mhm.
what kind of values those children are going to be having.
Mhm.
And then start breathing life, so to speak,
Into those dreams.
into those dreams
Okay.
and into your children. Yes.
Excellent. Excellent.
Mm.
So, aside from the lock and key issue,
Mhm.
so this person has found themselves in a relationship with somebody who has those traits
Mhm.
that you've said avoid. You know,
Yes.
the negative traits.
Mhm.
So it's time for them to leave.
Yes.
Then they leave, and then the leaving is the part that breaks them,
Okay.
or the part that what's the word to use, the part that starts to yeah, I think break. So how do they start put
So,
themselves together?
so let's put things here
Okay.
in perspective.
Yeah.
Before they got into marriage,
Mhm.
they were broken.
The two. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So even look at every individual. By
Yes.
the time they're getting to marriage,
Yeah.
they were, in a sense, broken.
Correct. Mhm.
And then the marriage
Mm.
exposed more and more of their brokenness.
Okay.
But then there is all these norms and values and
Mhm.
stuff that we put on around marriage.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That people, even people who just want to live together,
Yeah.
want to say they're married, but
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they're in marriage, there's a societal value that is put on you as a married person,
Mhm.
or that is put on you as a parent.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that can easily become an identity.
Mhm.
So when people are living marriage, it's actually living that identity, that value that society has put.
Mhm.
Again, we don't look backwards to
Mhm.
see that even before marriage that these people are already broken.
Yeah.
So they're looking at the marriage, that there are so many promises and so many
Yeah.
expectations around the marriage
Uh-huh.
that when they're leaving, it's breaking this thing that everybody holds so dear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're already broken,
Mhm.
yeah, then in a sense that marriage was already on the rocks.
Correct.
Yeah.
From the word go.
From the word go.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether we built a good house or we had beautiful kids.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was already broken.
Correct.
In a sense, it was
Yeah.
already broken.
Yeah.
Please note,
Mhm.
if these people had worked on themselves, the
Mhm.
probability of getting to a divorce would be a lot harder.
Okay. A lot
Yes,
less.
a
Yes.
lot less.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
But there's nothing. Oh, they allow me to mention this.
Mhm.
Most of the people who divorce
Mhm.
don't divorce because that one of the partners was narcissistic
Mhm.
or abusive.
Mhm.
No.
Mm.
Most of the people who actually divorce, it's for a lot less, more mundane reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reasons I'm saying that they're
Yeah.
universal.
Yeah.
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 They're more mundane. I mean,
She doesn't clean the dishes or something.
she cooks and burns my food.
Yes. Yes.
Or
Yeah.
he, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Of course, thrown into that mix is aspects of trust
Mhm.
and infidelity,
Mhm.
and all those things.
Yeah.
But the people who actually are unfortunate enough
Mm-hmm.
to meet an narcissistic person,
Yeah.
generally, those are the ones who should divorce, but they don't
They
divorce.
don't. They stay together. Yeah.
So there's nothing good about
Mm-hmm.
divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Divorce is messy.
Yeah.
Uh, it is. It's just messy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So if somebody has gone through divorce,
Mm-hmm.
uh, please understand again
Mm-hmm.
that the probability is the marriage was not the problem.
Yeah.
The problem was you
Mm-hmm.
and
And
your
the
partner.
and the partner.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you're
Mm-hmm.
beginning
Mm-hmm.
and you, as I said, there are those expectations
Mm-hmm.
that society puts around you.
Yeah.
There are those values that
Mm-hmm.
society holds around you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the first thing is to figure out who are you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, I'm Francis,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
But if you're to look at my life, I have been different people at different stages in my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time I was a bachelor
Yeah.
and a player, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
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 I became a father.
Yeah.
I've grown in my career.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at different stages, I
Mm-hmm.
have to sit down with myself,
Mm-hmm.
me, myself, and I, as we like
Yes.
calling ourselves,
Yeah.
have a meeting
Mm-hmm.
and agree who am I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even for a lot of the married people, one of the things that they need to first and foremost, not married, divorced,
Divorce. Yeah.
is to figure out who are they
Mm-hmm.
at that particular stage in life.
Mm-hmm.
Who who are they, and who, in a sense, who are they called to be?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, there's the other part of their future.
Correct.
What are their aspirations? What are their dreams
Mm-hmm.
as a person?
Mm-hmm.
As I said, there's a value
Yeah.
that is being put on you by society at
Mhm.
large, in a sense, about when you marry.
Mm-hmm.
So another question, one of the things that 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 plays a very big role in the heart and the pain and the messiness of separation and divorce is the fact that when we are divorcing, in a sense, I have to deal with something called rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, I am not good enough either to be a husband
Mhm.
or am I not good enough to be a wife.
Okay.
Yeah. So from that perspective, then what is your value as a person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have been, in a sense, rejected by one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's your value?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, this is a very deep question that somebody has to go into themselves
Mm-hmm.
and basically walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is when we say that you actually need help
Mm-hmm.
because we think in a specific way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a marriage, you think in a specific way. When you're out, you need to think different. You
Yeah.
need to see yourself different.
Mm-hmm.
So asking yourself what's your value is key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are to look at those two questions, like who are you
Mhm.
and what's your value, yeah, you need then to be able to chart your own story.
Mm-hmm.
You need to come up with your own goals and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
What are your aspirations? And moving forward, what are the kind of values you're going to live by?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of it all,
Mm-hmm.
I think, even when we talk about religion and all those things,
Yeah.
one of the things that is very, very key is the ability to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think Jesus Christ gave us two commandments: love God and then love your neighbor as you love
Yourself.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
So you need to be able to really, really get in touch with parts of you,
Yeah.
because without loving yourself,
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very hard to love somebody else.
Correct.
And it's actually even harder to love God if you don't love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's important that you be able to cultivate love for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
for your future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before you
Okay.
start interacting with other people.
Okay. Okay. I think that then becomes then the journey
Yes.
of healing for the people who unfortunately get to the point where they have to break up.
Yes.
And I think it's important and it's good to know that the breakup is actually not caused by big things. It's actually caused by little mundane things.
Very, very mundane things.
Very much, yeah. And then which means that then there's hope. I mean, you fix it before you actually get there, because once you get there, then it's such a small. It's literally the straw
Yes.
that breaks the camel's back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
so for many couples,
Mhm.
the word divorce shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And understanding that a lot of the issues that people think they have
Mhm.
are issues that are very, very easily solved.
Okay.
Um, for example, there's a lot of talk around infidelity,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And if you were to take the word infidelity, sorry, the concept on infidelity,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just open it up,
Yeah.
and just look,
Yeah.
ask the question, how come people
Mhm.
tend to be a bit promiscuous?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you'd find that these are small hurts
Mhm.
and traumas
Yeah.
that the different people in marriage have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and if they were able to address this,
Mhm.
infidelity would disappear.
It wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't exist.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
one way.
Yeah.
The other thing around, for example, infidelity is that
Mhm.
in a lot of the situations where um, somebody has been caught
Mhm.
i- with an affair
Mhm.
and they're sincerely sorry it
Mhm.
happened,
Mhm.
most marriages like that actually end up being very happy.
Mhm.
That happens to be the thing that brings people even closer together.
Okay. Yeah.
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 So it is just deciding to be honest,
Yeah.
open,
Mhm.
and agreeing
Mhm.
first and foremost with yourself, if you're
Mhm.
in a married partner,
Mhm.
that you're going to be in that marriage for the long haul.
Mhm.
Yeah. So these problems can easily be solved.
Yeah. Excellent.
Mm.
Excellent. Good. At least now that I feel like we've gone full circle.
Mhm.
We've gone from the beginning of what is healing.
Yes.
We've gone through the individuals, them walking their own paths and just deciding their personalities or creating them,
Mhm.
and then how they come together in the marriage
Yes.
and live happily ever after. And I think today now we've talked about in case they choose not to live happily ever after for a mundane reason, allow me to use that, then at least now they can start to walk by them deciding who they are
Yes.
and who their value is.
What's their value? That's true.
Yes, and
Yes.
what their value is worth.
Mhm.
Excellent. So I think then on this particular series of talks,
Mhm.
I think then that wraps that up for us quite nicely.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it does bring an end to all this.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we need to keep talking about and telling people is that
Mhm.
marriage is supposed to be fun,
Yeah.
and it is fun for a
Y-
lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, let's make it fun.
Okay.
And one of the ways of making it fun is ensuring that we are actually planning to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
We are not planning to have fun just for today. We're planning for next year, the year after that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dream together with our partners.
Mhm.
Let's have fun together.
Mm-hmm.
But most of all, let's work as a team.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Francis. I mean, this has been a roller coaster episode series, actually, with the various episodes, and for sure, we're looking forward to having you in again, and we tackle different aspects of humanity and then the human psychology. Just let's see if we can help people grow and push the boundaries to happier humans.
True.
Amen.
Karibu
Good.
sana. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and God bless.